Hello, and welcome to Cover Your Eyes Uncovered. Today we're talking about the video Sharp Dressed Man from ZZ Top in 1983. Hello, Holly.
Hello, Sarah.
So, you suggested that because we were doing videos for a while, and then you suggested this one because it goes so well with the movie that we just did, American Gigolo, because he's all about being a sharp dressed man.
Exactly.
So I feel like this is perfect. It's around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
ZZ Top was like a huge part of my musical taste growing up,
Absolutely.
and it
Agreed.
was my first concert. I think I've mentioned that on other episodes, but it bears mentioning again for this particular episode.
What
I was like,
memory?
I just remember like knowing that I was going and being preparing to go, and like it was just me and my dad, which was cool. So we drove to the big arena. And I remember I just got to like stand on the seat the whole time because I was like 5. Everyone was just going nuts over me because they were like, oh my God, she's so cute. And I was like, there weren't many 5-year-olds at the concert. And then when I had to go to the bathroom, then my dad had to like find a woman to take me into the bathroom because he couldn't go and like then
Yeah.
wait for me outside. And then people were like passing joints all down the row. So like joints got passed in front of me, but I didn't inhale. That's it. And I'm sure
Wow.
I wore like lacy ankle socks because that was, requisite for ZZ Top.
I was gonna ask you what you were.
I know I wore lacy ankle socks and some kind of dress because I would have wanted to like get dressed up for the event and like pretend like I was a ZZ Top girl, probably. I don't think I wore heels.
So,
Yeah.
so you were a fan?
Yeah.
Like you were excited about the concert?
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure that my dad was a fan as well because my dad's like super into guitar and also he's from Texas and I think they're from Texas. I think everyone just was into them at the time.
Yeah.
And I liked the videos and I liked the girls in the videos. And I liked the music. So I was super jazzed.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was telling everyone in kindergarten about it.
I would imagine.
My kindergarten teacher was probably like calling child protective services. Like, like what the hell? What about you?
I love ZZ Top when I was a kid. I loved these videos. There's this one, Sharp Dressed Man, She's Got Legs,
Yes,
and there's another one I think that like goes
I
with
know.
those videos.
What's it? There were 3 because there were 3
Right?
that featured these girls.
Yeah, and they're sort of like it's like they're stand-ins for ZZ Top. Well, so it's
Yes.
interesting that they picked women to be their stand-ins in the video as like because they're like the stars and they take control.
I mean, I love it.
Sharp Dressed Man, this guy is like he's a crasher. He's like a party crasher. Like he lives in a dump and he gets dressed up. He's a sharp dressed man and he goes places and he catches the eyes of certain ladies and the ladies get him into the fancy places that he wants to go.
Yes.
It's almost like a Julian origin story in some ways
Oh my God.
from American Gigolo.
Yeah, and it's 3 years later. So there probably is some element of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other the other video was "Give Me All Your Lovin'."
Yes.
Hmm.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. So it was like the album was Eliminator. That was the name of the album. So it's like the Eliminator series of videos and songs, and that's that car that's on the front, like that red old timey car. That they were always in that like souped up coupe.
It's the 40s Roadster.
Yes. This says it's like oh
Maybe.
my gosh. This says it's a Billy Gibbons 1933 Ford Eliminator.
Oh. Oh, so
So
they got the name of the album from the name of the car,
yeah.
the Eliminator.
And the car is like another star of the videos and the
Yeah.
album cover.
Yeah.
So yes, it's like he's trying to get in, and then it's this like stuffy country club looking kind of fancy club. And then they're not letting him in, they're giving him a hard time. And then the eliminator pulls up and these three hot women get out. So ZZ Top is like in the corner and they're like always doing this like finger motion thing, like making things happen. And they're like the fairy godmothers. And I feel
Totally.
like the women are like the mice and the other animals that help get Cinderella ready for the ball. Because they come in and like make him over and give him new
Oh
clothes and
my
everything.
God, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like they're like little fairy godmother assistants. So they come take him. The women are all like gorgeous, but they're wearing like pretty normal clothes. They don't come
Yeah.
in like bikinis. They're wearing like tank tops and jeans.
Mhm.
So you can tell that they're hot, but they're like comfortable. And they
They're
just
probably,
like
yeah.
walk into this ritzy club in their t-shirt and jeans like they own the place and they're just having a good time. And they don't care what anyone thinks. And they take him and then they give him a makeover and they bring him back like all done up so that he can get the girl that he wants. And they start dancing and it makes everyone have a good time and makes everyone loosen up. And I feel like these are like positive female role models.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
like they're video vixens, but like in a powerful way,
Yeah.
not
They're
like a just in the background way.
like when I watched these videos as a kid, they were some of my favorite. These ZZ Top videos were some of my favorites. And when
Mm-hmm.
I watched this video, I was like, oh, I totally see why. Because the hot women in the video are, their hotness is secondary to the fact that they're making things happen. And
Mm-hmm.
what they're making happen is helping other people have fun.
Yeah.
And that's why they're hot.
Mm-hmm. They're helping the underdog too, which is nice. I love it.
Breaking class barriers with
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Yes. The one thing that I thought was weird was when they do come in, they come back in with him and he gets the hot girl that he wants and they're dancing. Their dancing is very bizarre. It's like her, if you watch it, the way she's dancing with him is almost like she's physically assaulting him for a minute. And it reminded me of like the Elaine dance. Like how Elaine always hits people, but then also she has that really awkward dance. It's like this woman was combining the shoving him and dancing awkwardly. It's really weird. But aside from that, everything was great.
It's really funny. Oh my God, she didn't know how to dance.
Watch it again and pay close attention to that part.
I will.
Hmm. So I was just trying to like look into it. Like, did these girls have like a name? Did they have like a crew
Mhm.
name or anything? But I think they're just called like the Eliminator Girls. But they were in each of these three videos. So it's like a little ongoing thing, like you said.
Yeah.
And one of them, so there's Kimberly Heron, I think it is, Danielle Arnaud, and then one is Gina Thomasina. And Gina Thomasina, or yeah, she becomes Jenna Kehoe on The Real Housewives of Orange County later. And she was in
Oh.
Playboy and everything.
Oh.
I
I
was
don't.
like, oh my God. I know you don't watch that.
Yeah.
I don't watch
Is
it
she
anymore.
is she like really well known in that
She was only in like
world?
one or two seasons
Hmm.
in the very beginning.
Okay.
And like the one that was always causing problems, Tamara, like threw wine in her face and all that stuff. And I think she was just like, I don't need to be doing this. And
Okay.
just got off.
Yeah.
She didn't have time for their nonsense, you know?
Right. Was she sort of like Mandy Patinkin when he joined the first two seasons of Criminal Minds?
I don't know.
Oh. Because he had a change of heart. about being on that show because he was like the lead guy on that show the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't realize what I signed up for. I don't want to put this kind of stuff out into the world.
Oh.
Because it's like, violence and just, bizarre violence and things. And but he like came out and said that.
Wow.
I was just wondering, it kind of reminded me of that because it was
okay.
Because it was like, somebody signed up for, they thought it was going to be one thing, but really it's this other
Yeah,
thing.
I would say it's a parallel like that.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it someone else that looks like Mandy Patinkin that's on Law and Order? Isn't there another cop show where the guy that looks like him that was on it forever with like Mariska Hargitay?
I don't think Mandy Patinkin was on.
I think that those two guys look alike then, and I'm getting it all mixed up. I don't know. I don't watch either of those shows, and I know that most people do. So I apologize. I'm getting it wrong, but I'm going to look into that.
Do you watch the original Law and Order?
No. I've never watched any of them.
Why? What's,
They're just never on my radar. I don't know. I never had like anything against it, but I was just like, that or Criminal Minds just never came into my viewing life.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Criminal Minds because Mandy Patinkin was on it. And I watched Dead Like Me, that show Dead Like Me. And he's on that show, and I was like, what else is he on besides Princess Bride? And and I was like, I'll check this out. This is about murder.
Yeah.
I'll probably like it.
Yeah, it's not like I'm against murder shows or anything. It just didn't happen.
I just got to a point where it's like, I'm watching Blacklist right now.
Oh.
With James Spader. And he really, Sara, I have to tell you, many of the points on the show must be fast forwarded through.
Yeah.
Because it's real violent.
Oh.
And I just like can't watch that stuff anymore. And I used to have a really high tolerance for it. I would just like, I guess maybe I just like make fun of it. I'm not really sure, but things happened and I just like can't. So I just fast forward through that stuff.
Yeah.
But like Criminal Minds it was like that too, where I was like, oh, I can't keep watching this. It like messes with my head in a way that I don't. It makes me feel like scared.
Yeah. My friend was watching it and she had like just moved into her new apartment and it was like kind of out in the woods. She lived alone and she was like, why do I keep watching this? I'm terrifying myself like nightly.
Yeah, watch like Signed, Sealed, Delivered on the Hallmark Channel and stuff.
You
ever watch that show?
Where they investigate like lost mail and like try to track down the people that it was supposed to go to. Yeah, I've never watched it, but it sounds sweet.
I love that show.
Yeah, I feel like we all need to watch more of just feel good shows.
I've been savoring it because there's not that many episodes. But I watched like maybe an episode a month. And I just like cry.
Aww.
By the end of it, I'm just like, that's so sweet.
I know, we need more sweetness.
I'm like, I'm so glad I love people.
Aww.
And I'm so glad there's love. It was just like really like kindness. And it makes me wonder, like, it's actually really rewarding to watch kindness. And so why is it that people, including myself, can have a tendency to gravitate towards things that are aggressive or hostile?
I don't know. I have that too. So I'm definitely not like saying that you shouldn't watch things like that or listen to things like that because I've
Mhm.
100% done it. Like, and it's so in your face. Like, as soon as you turn on Netflix, it's like neighbors who murder and husbands who murder. It's like murder, murder, murder. And it's hard to not watch it. And I used to all the time. So I have to like actively choose, like, don't watch that. Just find something that will be more calming or enriching or enlightening or something.
But you said you actively choose.
Yeah, it's getting easier, but for a while I had to like actively be like, no, you're not going to watch that. Choose something else.
You had to like discipline yourself, like an
Yeah.
addiction.
Hmm. Yeah, almost like
I
an addiction.
understand. Well, and I like my family was a true crime interested family.
Hmm.
And I grew up with Aunt Pishy, my mom, my brother, my dad, even. I mean, my dad will kind of watch whatever's on,
Hmm.
but it's just really always been in the background.
Yeah.
So there's that. Maybe it would be different if it wasn't just always on in the background because it's like familiar. So there's almost like a weird nostalgia to it
It's true.
that seems
Yeah.
odd, but it's true.
Yeah.
And your mom is into true crime, right?
Oh, yeah. My parents will always have on like the ID network or whatever,
So,
just always there, available. Try to be better about that, especially like when my niece is there. I'm like, maybe don't have constant murder
mhm.
as the ambient noise of the house. So it's been
Yeah.
better over time. But yeah,
Mhm.
it is easy to just default to that. And it's like, if there are multiple people trying to watch TV together and it's like, what's on? What can we all agree on? It's like murder. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
kind of like an easy go to of like, well, we can all get into this, which is
Mhm.
fucked up, but true.
Yeah. Isaac's not into true crime.
Dan's not really either.
And that's been interesting. Or like horror movies or stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um and or things that are like really violent or like high intensity violent stuff. He's not really into that stuff at all. So it's been interesting because I grew up with that stuff around and he
Yeah.
didn't. So I
Hmm.
feel like in some ways he's not I'm desensitized to it, I guess. Or I
Right.
was, but then now I feel ultra sensitive to it to the
Hmm.
extent where I just fast forward through it. Because I'm like, I don't need to do this to my nervous system because I know my nervous system is going to get really wacky and dysregulated.
Yes.
And then it made me think about, so like I'm watching the show Blacklist
Hmm.
and I'm on the first season, but it's my like go-to trampoline show now. And I was watching it and I was like, you know, I guess there were a real string of violent, the government, shadow governments, violent CIA operatives, got to get the bad guy terrorist cell stuff happening like after 9/11
Hmm.
in the media, like everything kind of switched to that. And there's this justification of torture and violence. And there's a lot of really graphic violence. And it's like graphic violence in this way that's also self-righteous because we're weeding out the enemy. It just makes me think about how there's a lot of people now that are really, really scared and they have been primed all along by these kinds of shows to believe in shadow governments and secret conspiracies and all of this, like what can turn into a superhero rhetoric fantasy world of like these like cute people. And I'm like, these kinds of shows like prime people for these, you know, these belief systems about like secret governments and all of these conspiracies of how everything's run by organizations and, you know, this like neat, tidy little game. And it seems like it's a lot of it really is TV. I feel like TV is like sugar. It's like, I mean, like it makes people feel bad, is what I mean. Like it's something that's defeating. Like over time, it's something that has a defeating, addictive quality that people retreat into, and then they never make changes. They just like feel like they're stuck and they don't know why. And it's like sugar.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're eating sugar all the time. I'm not talking like normal amounts of sugar, but you know, I mean, I'm sure you've met people where you're just like, oh my God, did you eat that? Like, that's why you don't feel good. Okay.
Yes.
And I think it's the same with TV.
Right.
And nobody wants to talk about it.
It's the elephant in the room. So I feel like we need to take this conversation and put it at the end and then wrap up our ZZ Top conversation.
Yeah, or just like cut this part out. Yeah.
Can I say that when you were talking about Mandy Patinkin, and I was thinking he was on the other show, it's Christopher Maloney. And I feel like they kind of look alike, and he's on Law and Order.
Really? That's really interesting.
They're both just like bald brunette men with vague faces to me. And they're both on crime shows. So they're kind of like, no, that's not who I'm thinking of at all.
Okay,
Who's the other guy?
Because I thought maybe you had some sort of neurological issue where you couldn't recognize faces.
Who's the other guy?
Yeah.
That is not what I thought Mandy Patinkin was. He's like, you keep using that word and I don't think you know what it means.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Never mind. Forget
That's
about
hilarious.
it. I'll figure it out later. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, moving on from whatever I just said.
I felt like whenever I was watching like the ZZ Top video that I wasn't nervous about enjoying it.
Good.
Because, you know, I feel like there's sort of a low level nervousness that I experience with a lot of media where I'm like, is something going to make me feel gross? Like the people that are making this don't like women.
Yeah. Especially with music videos. It's like, oh, what's this going to be?
Exactly.
But I was very happy and comforted. I'm just getting Christopher Maloney mixed up with himself. Never mind. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It held up. And then I felt happy that as a small girl, like 4 to 5 years old, that I was thinking these were cool chicks. And they were. Because sometimes when you look back, you're like, oh my God, that's what I was like emulating or idolizing. But with these, it's like, yeah, I like that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to do She's Got Legs because that was like the ultimate for me.
Yeah.
So we have to do that later at some point.
Definitely.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I would give this video 2 beards up.
2 beards up.
And they didn't even touch any of the women or do anything.
Mm-mm.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it is nice.
It's like they're just there in the corner directing good things to happen. I liked it. Okay.
Me
Yay.
too.
All right. Cool. Anything else?
No, not really.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you for suggesting it.
My pleasure.
Okay. It's pretty late. Why don't you go get some Z's?
Okay. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I had to. Okay. Have a good night. And we'll talk to you later. Thank you for listening. We love you. Bye.
Bye. I love those kinds of jokes.